Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Weber State Esports. We're glad to have you joining us this Wednesday evening for some Rocket League games.
Yes, as we are continuing on into the next semester right here, and things are going very fun indeed. Today's matchup against Northern Arizona University.
Yes, this will be our, I believe, third match of the NECC. I should have double-checked that before, but I'm excited to see how we perform today. Weber's been doing absolute maniac stuff in the games we've seen, in a good way. They've been playing very, very well. I believe they 4-1'd last week, and I think 4-0'd the week before, so really, really cool.
Yeah, we've seen some strong showings from Weber's team so far, and, in past seasons as well. I'm just hoping we can keep that going because, no offense to our team, but sometimes it's had its ups, some downs. I want to see that consistent performance because Weber has had some really high highs, and obviously I want that to keep going.
And they've had some close calls on the lows too, and some lows in general. I know many times in previous seasons we have nearly been reverse swept. We've gone up 3-0 and we end up going to the 7th game, which is crazy. So while that makes for fun content, I mean, I love streaming a close 7-game series. At the end of the day, I do agree. I would like to see some consistency as well. Kind of hit the habits out of the way of getting a little too cocky in some of the games, which I feel like can be sometimes Weber's issues. They go up a couple points in a game and then just start playing a little crazy. I respect it.
Yeah, but playing for too many goals and not enough defensive qualities in there.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes the best way a game can go is 1-point wins as opposed to a 30-point game.
Yeah. So we are just going to have just a little bit of a moment here while we're waiting for the game to get set up for us to get inside there. And yeah, any specific things that you're looking forward to because you were on the cast here for the previous game. And, what kind of things did you spot out there? What kind of things were you looking for, like, to hopefully improve upon, even though it was already a good showing?
I would say Weber likes to overcommit a little bit too much. There are a lot of plays where they'll send 3 members to all make an aggressive play or have 2 separate members defend a single score on goal, right? If the enemy team sends a member to shoot and they have 2 members jump to block it, well, suddenly that can leave them actually quite open for a follow-up play.
Yeah, so in any case here, we should be getting into the match very shortly, ready to go. And, yeah, I'm excited. What you said, very good point there. And yeah, sorry about that. My speech here just keeps getting interrupted here, and we should be going in right now. So here we go. Weber State versus Northern Arizona University, and the game is off.
And already NAU taking advantage on the Kirchhoff and almost scoring a goal there. Actually, it will be scored by Chronicle, an insanely fast play from the duo there of NAU. Vale, actually all 3 members contributing. Vale helping win the 50-50 early. Beast getting that tap forward, and Chronicle getting a nice goal. A clean play to start off the match.
Well, it looks like Weber has their game cut out for them. It is not going to be a simple matchup by any means, and so we're going to see demos coming in right off the bat as CRF going to be trying to take the ball a little bit further here. Chronicle knocking it up into the air and now being followed up by Beast as we see Northern Arizona onto the ball and setting up for another power play right here, contested by CRF as it gets knocked into the midfield.
Looks like Beast going for a little bit of a tap that will land gently into absolutely no one's hands. They've got full boost, so we'll see if they can do much with it. But actually, Rivers ends up being the one to tap it forward. Prepping it for absolutely no one. We'll end up missing it as CRF is on defense now. Looks like a lot of just passing back and forth here. No one really in solid control to be able to pass to a teammate. Just both teams trying to make sure the ball doesn't end up in an unfavorable position as CRF going for a block. He will get a gentle tap, and actually Vale unable to stop the momentum, which means that CRF is going for a goal attempt here, and it will go in.
All right, just a little bit of, poor setup there. Not a great position to try and stop that goal going in there. CRF had a lot of options and was able to just tap it right in there. Very nicely done by Weber. That has now basically reset the match state to a nice even setup. 1-1, and we're going off again.
And the first minute of the match, like you said, becomes even. It's fun to see game states like this because then it feels like you're playing just a shorter best-of-1 point. And now CRF with a decent amount of boost will be pushing it up again, looking to go for another solo goal maybe, but it will be blocked this time by Vale as absolutely no one hitting a huge momentum hit. But with the demo onto CRF, it means that Beast has killed Weber's play and absolutely no one forced to go on the defensive once again as Chronicle pushing it away into the hands of Beast, who has full boost. Can they go for a goal attempt here?
They're going to be knocked away. Seems like a little bit of a cancellation on that hit right there. but going to be bringing it into this corner, and it's actually going to lose control as CRF is going to be taking it very quickly over to the other side of the map right here. Bale contesting it, CRF staying on the ball once again, and now Beast picking up and jumping it over and blocked by Rivers coming in there. Finally, their time to shine as we have a very close shot there going towards Weaver's own goal, and now Chronicle. Can they keep control of this as it gets stolen by absolutely no one? And it is now back, and it might even just be a goal from the other side of the pitch.
I didn't expect that at all. I think just the tap here from Rivers not being blocked well enough by Beast or by... Actually, no, Beast looks like... No, Vale just wasn't quite in position. Yeah, used all their boosts to get there. Wasn't fast enough. And a second point for Weaver so far. I was about to comment on how evenly matched these teams seem, and I still say that. I think they're both showing a lot. But it looks like Weaver pulling ahead just a little bit here.
Well, I think almost in, a funny bit of foreshadowing here, you talked about Weber and how they would commit all three of their members in, and it would be, like this massive thing, and sometimes it would just go awry and get out of their hands. We're seeing the exact same playstyle come in from Arizona. It's like they are doing the same thing we see Weber do, and that is why these teams are evenly matched. They're playing in the same places, and they have the same weaknesses, and that got them their quick goal right here.
Yeah, the hyper-aggressive playstyle. It makes for fun games, like we said, so I'm all for it. As you can see, Vale stealing the enemy's boost, actually. Weaver will not get it, and actually a huge flip forward from Beast. Came out of nowhere, it looked like, just flying in to get that forward tap.
Yeah, an absolutely explosive kickoff strategy that we have from Northern Arizona. The moment that Weber lets one opening slip on that first play, that is where Arizona likes to get their goals.
So we'll see if NAU can keep that up as they continuously win these 50-50s at the start, it seems. As Chronicle going for the setup, maybe looking to hand it over to Beast, but actually it's a good position of their own. It will be blocked by Rivers, and now it's up to Vale to find the follow-up play. Still, the ball pretty solidly in the control of Northern Arizona. They're just keeping it on the side of Weber, constantly threatening these plays. If Weber can find a push back, it could be huge for them, and there it maybe is. No, blocked by Beast, and now absolutely no one trying to maintain the momentum, using what boost they have left to keep the ball aerial, maybe passing it over to Rivers. Can the gentle fall down do anything? No, it's actually Vale will get it. And that means, once again, Weaver in a little bit of a weird defensive position. They've got to send someone back fast. Thankfully, they managed to find the defensive play as Rivers will push the ball back over to the side of Northern Arizona, and we'll see how this plays out.
And right now, things are actually going to be picking up in pace just a little bit. Weaver's looking good on resources. Beast is going for a shot, but blocked by CRF. Rivers taking the ball onto the right side of the pitch, and now following it as fast as they can. CRF on the follow-up, blocked by Chronicle, and Beast just lagging behind, able to pick up the ball on the rebound right here. And now going toward the goal, we see Vale on the setup trying to hit it a little bit more, but Weaver in full formation trying to follow this down the pitch. And we see a triple strike ready to go here. Rivers on the tap, but unfortunately went just a little wide and couldn't keep it going.
This is an insane series of passing plays, essentially, between the teams. As Vale actually finds the angle, won't actually find the direct angle there, though, as the ball will go wide. Vale will still be able to steal the boost from Weaver, and it actually looks like CRF in the better position. Beast being able to just tap it away, and now it's in their control. They're going to air dribble it over to the goal, which Weaver isn't really in great position to block. CRF barely manages to get into the goal in time to block that away. But now it's still Weaver on the back foot with almost no boost left and every single member of Northern Arizona on the offense. But again, every time we've seen that in the past, it's turned out very poorly for the offensive team because defense is hard to pull back into when you're all the way on the other side of the map.
Now, unfortunately, as we can see here, it looks like Rivers is just dead in the water right there, sitting around, not able to contribute at the moment. And so we're essentially seeing Weaver fight this 2v3 for the time being, as CRF is going to be knocking down once more. We see Vale going for the setup, and absolutely no one stopping that in its tracks.
CRF trying to stop another play, but will miss it. And again, this 2v3 is definitely not in favor of Weaver, especially with 40 seconds left on the clock and already being down a point. They've got to score 2 to take the game, or at least 1 to get them into overtime. Weaver really likes having the ball up in the air. If you've seen in previous weeks, they're very great at this air dribbling and aerial control. But right now, again, without a third member, it's really tough to hold, and Beast in a great position to try and tap it into the goal, won't find the angle, and absolutely no one on defense will try and push the ball away. Winning a little bit of a 50 tap there should give Weaver enough time to figure out what they want to do in these last 15 seconds. And with the clock ticking, I don't think they can find a play to turn the game around. It would take a hero hit from absolutely no one here. It's actually CRF will be the one to hit it. Will get boost. Can they get it up into the air for the last 4 seconds? This is basically the last chance they have, but it's looking pretty good, actually. The full offense from NAU will barely turn into defense in time, and I think the ball should gently fall down here and be too late.
A very good defensive showing from Weaver right there. Unfortunately, being a member down during that time, it was highlighting Weber does have a good defense when they need it, but that does not save you when you are already a point behind.
Yeah, I was very impressed that they held that for so long. And again, like you said, they didn't actually end up losing a point the entire game. When Weber wants to play defense, they're really, really coordinated. And it's something that I will give credit to Weber as a whole. Their coordination is great. They just overly coordinate plays in the same way at the same time, if that makes sense. They all want to go on the offense or all want to go on the defense. And the mixture of that can be a little hard for them. Northern Arizona, I'm pretty impressed with as well. As you mentioned, a very similar play style with this aggressive all-in. I'm hoping to see both teams adapt and start punishing a bit more. I think Weber already forced to go on the defensive a bit, just due to the nature of being down a member for a bit.
Yeah, and I think in the big parts we're going to see these differences. Just from my initial observations in that first match, I have a feeling that Northern Arizona is actually the better strike team. We see them win the 50-50s. We see them going in and getting these immediate goals pretty consistently. And so that's leading me to think that of the two teams, that Northern Arizona is more offense focused. And that means that if there is an opening for Weber to pick up on, it's going to be surviving that initial onslaught and keeping it going longer. The longer the match, the better the odds for Weber. Now, unfortunately, we see this match starting off here. A good follow-up here coming in from Beast, able to get it just over absolutely no one and landing the first goal of the match, once again putting Weber onto the back foot.
As you said, Weber just needs to weather the storm, but the storm is fierce currently. You can see a demo already coming out as well, some more of that aggression. Northern Arizona really good at finding these weird angles to try and find goals, and it will be scored again there from Beast. Almost a solo play from them, I think.
Yeah, at this point, I'm thinking Weber a little bit shaken up by how, the unfortunate circumstances of the first match played out. And we can just see that they're just slipping away right here, and they don't actually have much traction to keep things going. So we're going to have to see some sort of power play come in here to hopefully change around that morale. Otherwise, they might just be bleeding out this entire series.
If Weber could just get the ball away from their side for even a moment, it would give them a lot of resources back. I've noticed Northern Arizona really good at denying the boost pads in the corners of Weber's goal, which means that they slowly bleed out of their boost and all of their options to block anyway. But now with the ball about in center court, they've got a couple more opportunities. You can see most of the players diving aggressively towards the ball one after another. Zeraf in a decent position, but again, without some of that boost, it's really tough to actually find a goal. Absolutely no one will take away a boost and maybe be in a better position. But with the ball flying back over and the control of Conical, I don't think it'll go anywhere.
So we're going to see another stalemate situation set up right here as CRF is going to knock the ball into the air. River is actually going to be taking direct control and goes for a shot there, but knocked away by Chronicle. Weaver was setting up for a good three-man hit right there, and now onto the defense. Once again, absolutely no one getting it away from that goal, the danger zone, and now going to have to try and set this up. We are not seeing a lot of striking opportunities come in here for the side of Weber State, and so it's going to be a very difficult play right here, almost as if immediate adaptation comes in. We were trying to say stuff about the defensive power of Northern Arizona, and they just showed full force what they are capable of doing after they win their first game.
I'm happy to see it. It makes for good content and very exciting games. There's another demo coming out, but this time for Weber actually taking out Chronicle. You'd think it would give them a lot of time to do stuff, but honestly, demos, unless perfectly coordinated, don't tend to do a lot other than give you a moment to breathe. It looks like Weber looking to get good use out of it with a flip reset from Rivers there on the ball, just to send it all the way across the map. Can one of the members of Weber defend this reverse push? And it looks like CRF with enough boost will push it away. The ball sort of just flying around in the air, but usually Weber really likes when the ball is up in the air. It's something I feel like we haven't seen a ton of until this game. The last couple minutes have really been aerial, and Weber loves it when that happens. They've actually found themselves a goal.
Yeah, I was almost about to say that I think Weber's weakness actually shining through in this game is part of that long aerial play, because we're seeing very quick responses coming in from Northern Arizona. They're basically just waiting for where Weber is aiming for, and that's setting up a lot of problems in that they can play very quickly on top of the ball, and Weber is struggling behind, having to respond after the ball is hit. Now, what we're seeing is that hopefully, Weber can adapt to some of what Northern Arizona is doing and have this onslaught play style of having multiple members do multiple things and just making sure, by chance if even, that you're there where the ball kicks out after all the commotion.
Yeah, I think it's really good analysis. Weaver likes to play in the air, but as you said, they're really getting punished for it this match. Northern Arizona, one of the first teams we've seen in a while that's great at punishing these aerial plays, and now looks like they're on the defense here for the moment with absolutely no one know that would be Rivers coming around the side here. And CRF actually finding a phenomenal tap to kill all momentum. Looks like Vale will be on the defensive as a bit, just trying to push the ball away in any direction. With Beast actually in a great position to push away, it looks like Weber will be back on the defense, picking up their boost, making sure the ball isn't too close to the goal. And can they find the angle to deny a lot of the aggressive plays? And actually with that should be another goal, but with the slightly incorrect angle, it's not going to go in, and Chronicle will defend.
It was a very close shot coming in there, and unfortunately, I think having missed that shot, it might just be spelling doom for the second game of this series. There is still 1 minute and 30 seconds left on this clock. Northern Arizona is not letting up in the slightest, as they are hungry to get more goals and increase their lead even further. Now Weber State going to have to try and follow in here, as Rivers is going to be knocking the ball into the air. We're going to have to see a follow-up come in here from absolutely no one, but immediately shut down. As soon as Weber is setting up, Northern Arizona is responding.
Yeah, and I wonder if that goal not going in did much more to the damage of Weber's mental than it did to the point score. I'm hoping that Weber can at least get another point in this match, redeem themselves to the one that missed, and save their mental just a little bit. But with a minute remaining, I don't think they have a lot of time. It's up to these last couple seconds here, honestly, because if the ball resets and the other team scores, if Northern Arizona can find a point, it could kill all momentum in the play as a whole.
We've seen games of Rocket League turn very quickly. So 40 seconds, it is getting ever so tighter of a window for Weber to make something happen. We have to see a follow-up come in there, but it is just not there. Weber almost playing a bit shy into this match, where we need some explosive power immediately, and it's just not showing up.
And we've seen, another close attempt there from Rivers. I was going to say, we've seen Northern Arizona score a bunch of goals in rapid succession with low time on the clock, but we get to see Weber accomplish that in this series. So with 13 seconds left, they've got to prove they can if they want to take this game too. Otherwise, we'll be going quickly to a game 3 in the favor of Northern Arizona. Let's see it. 4 seconds left, and a demolition from Rivers maybe gives a tiny window. If absolutely no one can score this goal exactly now, there's a chance, but it will hit the ground, and that will be game 2 to Northern Arizona University.
So, an unfortunate start for Weber today. Maybe I'm just the bad luck charm. It's not happened since I've been here, and unfortunately, it's just been a poor setup and a poor matchup. But that does mean that, Northern Arizona, props to them. They are pulling together in all the areas that matter. And as much as I love to support Weber State, I just have to admire how well they are playing this match.
Has some beautiful coordination. It feels like one of them is always in the right position to block, but they're not overcommitting to that, and they have another member ready to follow up on most plays. Very cool to see. I'm happy just to see good Rocket League in general. Another shout out to Northern Arizona I want to say is that, as you mentioned, Weber, really getting punished in the air, which is not something we see a lot in teams. It's something I want to mention again because Weber really loves causing chaos in aerial plays. But Northern Arizona punishing it very well, and I think it's thrown Weber off balance a bit. They can't just easily toss the ball up into the air and gently glide it over to the enemy goal. It's always going to be punished.
Yeah, typically what we see from Weber is that they play up in the air and manage to get it higher than the enemy team can expect. And when they go to contest it in the air, that's when it fails. What Northern Arizona is doing is contesting it on the ground after Weber has no more tricks they can play. And just having that little bit of patience means that Weber can do all the aerial plays they want. It doesn't mean anything unless there's a whole bunch of force behind it ready to follow it up.
So far in this game, I can't tell if this is a Rocket League match or a demolition derby. I believe we've seen 4 already in just the 30 seconds, along with some insanely close goal attempts from Weber. Really going on the offense here in the early start of this game, and it seems to be going to their benefit. Can they find the angle in there? No. Chronicle once again finding the perfect defensive position. 2 more demos coming out again. This is crazy so far this game. We'll see if these demos can actually end up turning into a long play that can score a goal for either team. But for now, the ball mostly just stalling in the air.
I mean, if anything, it's the natural evolution. If you're reaching a point in the match where you can't rely on your team to overcome the enemies, just with good placement, good follow-up, good, strategy and patterns, then the only other thing to do is to get the enemy team a man down. And when you have that, you have just a little bit more room. You just have to immediately execute a plan off of it.
Yeah, there's, especially because of the small amount of snowballing you can see in Rocket League. When the demo comes out, it might only be a few seconds, but that's enough time to push out the enemy composition, take away their boost, and get into a favorable position yourselves. And we'll see here, Chronicle getting a demolition of CRF means that an offensive play from Weber once again falls short. Still looking fine for them overall with CRF able to push the ball here, and Chronicle taking it back. My goodness, the ball is ping-ponging back and forth very aggressively so far.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, I'm hoping this just means that something has flipped for Weber. You know, next game, next reset, ready to go again. And I'm hoping we're seeing just a little bit of that extra aggression, that extra cohesion, bringing the team together where they are not just looking to respond and worrying about how these plays are setting up. First goal of the match, going in there, but took much longer to happen here. But what we're seeing here in Weber's play style is that they are ready to play more risky. Already 2 games down, they have to make something happen. And sure, maybe they'll lose a ball after it, gets blocked by the goal. But they have to try and get that goal in the first place. Otherwise, it is all for naught.
Yeah, and even if this is the only point scored this game, for those of you that have followed us for a while, you know these Rocket League games often go to 7 games, even when they look like they should only go to 3. So don't count Weber out in this game or this match, as a really good goal attempt from Absolutely No One, but not enough momentum and not the right angle means that it will be gently handed to the hands of Chronicles, who will actually grab that boost as they were falling as well. A huge play from NAU just to deny a lot of Weber's momentum. And with CRF missing the ball there, suddenly they're in a very bad position. There's Absolutely No One hugely finding a massive tap, even from the hands of Rivers, just to deny full momentum. Can Weber find the angle here themselves? They've got in a great position to maybe do a follow-up play or bounce it off the backboard, but Chronicle going very high up, and with a blocked miss from CRF, we'll see if a lot can happen. There's a demolition coming out, and again, Weber maybe finding themselves in the backfoot with a huge push, attempting to go for a rebound off the backboard that won't succeed.
Yeah, the classic issue, anytime you see that quick turnaround and another thing coming in, the hero save into a play, is that you're always lacking in boost. You spend everything to save one part of the match, and then it's after everything settles down that you have to pick up the game once again. And that is what we're seeing from Northern Arizona, where once all the resources are gone, once there's no more commotion, they are still there on the ball, ready to make another strike.
A lockdown on the pitch from NAU. Really, really careful with their insane blocking and slow plays. As now there's a lot of danger coming out here. CRF with a good amount of boost trying to push it away. Using all of it up, though, just to try and make a goal attempt. And actually, it might be going in. A huge play from Weber right off the bat. They might have enough time to even this game up now.
That's what we have to see from Weber. They have to keep up this aggressive style. As you can see, the moment CRF let the ball down, Rivers was there to hit it forward. And if that didn't work out, we saw Absolutely No One charging in for that third hit. It is that commitment that we were seeing from Northern Arizona, and it is that commitment we have to see in like from Weber.
So far, it looks like we're seeing a decent amount of that commitment. Absolutely no one staying back just to defend a goal attempt that could go awry, and it did in fact matter there, as they're going to attempt to push it here now as ball kind of just hovering in a very awkward spot for Weber. If none of them can get the push over there, it could have been disastrous, but Rivers thankfully will find the angle. And now CRF using all of their speed just to get into a good position. Can Weber find another goal? And yes, they can. Just like that, the third game is evened up.
We said it before, but these games can very quickly turn around. It is still either team's game to take right here. 1 minute and 12 seconds left on the clock, and we are getting ready for the next kickoff as we go into this match right here. Vale loses the 50-50 right there, as Chronicle is actually going to get the demo, and ready to follow this up is Beast going into the match. An open pitch right there, but Rivers is going to be picking it up and taking it into the corner as they go for another goal, and this is actually looking like a good setup for Weber, but too many cooks in the kitchen as everyone was piled up there into that corner onto the ball, and it is now going over to the favor of Northern Arizona.
Looks like Weber is ready for the play, then is going to play defensive. However, with CRF being taken out here, it's a couple seconds of a window where a lot of danger for Weber. They find the push away, and unfortunately, absolutely no one missing there means that the goal attempt that could have come out is cut short even from Weber's side, and now absolutely no one doubling back, just trying to make sure they're in a good position to block. 30 seconds remaining on the match, and we could be going to overtime if neither team can find the point here. It's looking like neither team will, but Weber in a pretty good position. They're going to gently dribble the ball against the wall towards the goal. Won't end up going anywhere, and it's up to CRF to find the angle.
Yeah, right now Weber has adopted, a new strategy in here in which they're just going to try and play this at awkward pacing. If Northern Arizona is perfectly matching the speed of what Weber can do. Weber is just going to change the pace entirely, and at a lack of good response time to that, we see Weber picking up the last goal potentially of this match. 8 seconds on the clock. Can Northern Arizona get another one of their quick goals? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this is just Weber's to spike.
And it looks like it will hit the ground in a moment. Having a little bit of fun there with the ball in the air, Weber, but they will take the third game and their first of the match. A huge momentum swing for them.
So that is looking much better for Weber right now. It is the first match first game they were able to win within this match, and hopefully upping their morale a little bit more, even from the very start of that. Despite the first 2-0 lead coming in from Northern Arizona, Weber was looking more confident. They were doing a lot more into their plays, and if this has invigorated them, can they keep it going?
Boy, I'm excited to see that potential. I like the way you highlighted last match, the tempo switch up from Weber. It's almost as if they recognized NAU was used to the 4-4 tempo and decided to switch it up to a 3-4 and see how they adapted, and it turned out Weber took away an advantage. Let's see if they can keep that up in this game so far. They really like these corner plays, it seemed, in the last couple of minutes. A lot of just sideways pushing to see if another member of Weber is in position to knock it straight into the goal. Finally, it looks like Vale will deny the play, and with Chronicle in a good position, especially after getting a demo there, they want to go for the goal. A huge block from CRF to deny all plays and momentum. Beast is forced to just attempt to set up another play. Straight into the hands of Vale, though, hugely blocked from absolutely no one. If he had not been there, it would have been a disastrous play.
Yeah, I mean, I think just sort of on the play styles overall, we're seeing so much adaptation in this match, where initially we were discussing, very sort of surface level things, how are their teams playing, how are they coming together, how are they going for it, and we're going back to even more basics in that this has now become a battle of resource management. Weber is doing an incredible job at keeping it on one side of the map and then maintaining their boost while they just wait for Northern Arizona to swarm around the ball, try to make something happen, while Weber just has one member ready to strike in after everything is done.
You can see NAU starting to adapt to this a little bit. A lot of more gentle, slow taps are coming out from both sides. As like you mentioned, they're saving their boost for the angle that they can find, and more so just sort of dribbling the ball each time they can. As Weber's going for a long shot that won't be followed up, absolutely no one who isn't in a great position to follow it up with, but now might be able to get a decent amount of control of the ball with the help of CRF. Let's see if Weber can turn this one into a goal, and it will be denied from Vale, but not fully denied, as absolutely no one once again in a great position.
I mean, honestly, at this point, it's a good thing we're having fighting universities because they're driving like it's a school zone. Things are slowed down into such tiny, precise movements to set up for the next play, and it is just completely shifted from the explosive action of the first half of this matchup.
It's either full long shots that aren't followed up on, or, like you said, school zone driving, a little bit of gentle taps here and there with the ball. A little bit more chaos going on now, but I think a lot of that was due to the extra boost both teams had at the time. With a lot of the boost slowly disappearing and not enough time for players to go to the sides of the map, we should see some slower stuff here. As Rivers will pick it up here, sort of dribble it along the ground as Chronicle will knock it away. It's onto a really good side angle for NAU, and they might be able to find it here. Will be blocked just a little bit there from the wall, as absolutely no one trying to find an interesting position there. As Rivers will be the one to push it away instead, and Beast is receiving.
So now we're at an interesting point right here, because either Weber could try to get more gold in this game right now, or maybe they are just already deciding to play for this one goal of this game. They don't have to make anything happen, they just have to run out the clock, which means it is actually on the pressure of Northern Arizona to change up the play style once again. We've seen quick adaptation from Weber. Can we see Arizona do the same thing? Can they bring something magical that neither team is fully expecting?
Let's see if they can pull it off. With 2 minutes left on the clock, that's still plenty of time for either team to score a goal, but I think Weber seems to still be wanting to go for goals. You mentioned that they could choose to lock it down and try and play out this match the way it is, but I think Weber's saying, hey, we want the safety, we don't want to just let it go, and besides, it's not good practice for the future games that we know are coming anyway. So they're going to keep playing for it, as Rivers will get a demo there and have maybe a couple seconds for Weber to get a play, but it seems like demos have not super gone in the favor of any team that's gone for them yet.
So we see another play going into the corner right here. Things are going to be just a little bit stalled out here in the air. CRF going for a light tap, and then Beast going to be knocking up once more, blocking absolutely no one from going in for a shot. Rivers on the ball once again, and now we're going to see a play come in from Northern Arizona as we have Chronicle onto the ball, bringing in a good bit of speed into the corner, across the pitch, Vale hitting it, capping it up, and Rivers on the block and canceling out their momentum.
I don't know if it's just me or if neither of these teams are going for head-on shots anymore. It feels like it's always the side angles into the follow-up from a teammate that is the plan for both Weber and Northern Arizona, but much more for Weber. This is the third time in the last couple minutes we've seen them go for the diagonal angle. Let's see if it will actually pay off for them in the end. It's how they got their first goal, and maybe they can turn it into a second. With 51 seconds left, they don't need another, but safety is good. If Weber can score another goal, that could be the game.
I mean, if anything, hopefully this means that Weber just had a cutting strike in these past two games against Northern Arizona, just killing that confidence in how Northern Arizona was able to get those quick shots, get those quick plays. If they don't believe they can do it, can they actually get any goals at all?
It's a good point. Momentum and motivation can be a huge thing in a game, and if you can really kill a lot of momentum, start to convince the enemy team to have doubts, it's a lot that can affect the gameplay. A lot of people say it's up to 50% of gameplay is mental. So let's see if Weber has shaken NAU at least a little bit. 10 seconds left on the clock. NAU has to find a goal now, or else the series will be tied up with 5, 4, 3, 2, and the ball gently falling. Oh, not yet, actually. Beast going to the play. Northern Arizona has one last chance, but Weber with the pushback should deny it. And there it is, the fourth game, to Weber State.
Well, very nicely done from Weber in that matchup. They managed to get their one goal, and they managed to keep the pressure on, keep Northern Arizona guessing, keep them out of their comfort zone. That just means our series is now tied up. Potentially 2 games to an end, but going into this next round, I have no idea who's going to be taking the next point.
Yeah, in situations like this, I always like to make the analogy that, especially when how evenly these teams have been playing, we might as well be playing a best of 3 now, and the first 4 games were essentially warm-ups. Obviously, they did matter, and we saw both teams adapt and do a lot of cool gameplay. But at this point, it's only the next 2 points that matter. Nothing else really has that much of an impact.
I mean, based on the comments earlier, this is now a moment for Weber to actually, answer the question, were they playing mostly to delay, or were they playing their best to get another goal? Because if it turns out that was the best we were seeing from both teams' attempts to get a goal, we just saw about 4 minutes of neither team being able to get a goal.
And that could really determine the pace of the rest of the series. I mean, if that was everyone's best attempt, we might see it slow down quite a bit. I don't know if we will fully, though. I think both these teams still have a lot of that hidden aggression in them. We see it in some of these small pushes and plays. But mostly, yes, they have slowed down quite heavily. A demo coming out from Beast on the CRF. It's the first one we've seen in a while that seemed a little bit intentional. We'll see if Chronicle can turn it into something, or if absolutely no one can get a good denial here. Going gently into the arms of CRF, who was waiting for it. They have a really good position here, but no one, unfortunately, around to support them fully.
We're seeing a beautiful back and forth from Weber as they brought it into the corner and back out to the middle of the field, followed up by absolutely no one. Now, they didn't manage to get a play off of that immediately. Chronicle actually going to be getting a hit, followed up by Beast. And can they get the rebound? It was just a little bit shy, but the angle was being set up there. And so now we see Weber on the offensive as it gets passed over to Beast, who is going to have to take control and keep this out of their side of the field, as CRF is going to be able to take the ball and play it into the air, but lacks the boost to actually keep it up.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we continue to see goal attempts like the rebounds, like these corner shots, because it seems like once goals stop working, both teams adapt and say, hey, we cannot score a goal head on. We can't really score a goal in these other ways. Let's try and find angles the enemy team is not prepared to block yet. Rivers, for now, going for a decent diagonal shot. Won't end up going in, but absolutely no one still will carry the momentum. Unfortunately, actually won't stay in their favor. And a huge goal shot from Beast, once again going for a rebound. Won't find it, and now it looks like the ball will stagnate a little bit. As Weber actually low on boost, though, it's only Rivers that has a good amount, and they're not in a great position to find the offensive play until right now.
You know, honestly, we've been talking about it this whole matchup, and we've seen so much evolving throughout this game, so many story arcs to cover and follow, and at this point, I'm only seeing one major point of evolution to follow through, in which I want to see these players making plays off of themselves. I want to see someone rebound a shot into their own goal. I don't think there's much more team coordination is going to be doing at this point unless the individual players start picking themselves even further.
No, I like that analysis a lot. I think you're 100% correct. It is these solo hero plays that need to be found that can swing a game at this point, especially with almost half the time in the match already slipping by and no goals scored. I think that answers the earlier question posed of, hey, I think both of these teams are trying absolutely their best, and they finally found a place that they are evenly matched. They've adapted and are now just looking to score a single point.
So we see Rivers trying to bring this down just a little bit, but blocked off by Chronicle, knocked up into the air, and so absolutely no one going to try and control this into the corner once again, and has just enough speed to be able to follow this through, but gets demoed, which means that Weber is now not going to be able to make much pressure onto this next hit. CRF actually going to be hitting the player and not the ball, as we just leave it to run wild, and a shot going straight against Weber's goal, barely blocked by CRF. Imagine if that had been the turning point of this game.
If that had gone in, I think that might have determined the entire game. This series has really slowed down to the point where a single goal just determines all of it. A lot of 50s going very even right now in the matches. Both players kind of hitting the ball into a neutral state, causing it to bounce up or down. A flip reset from Rivers is a very cool tech. Unfortunately, won't result in a serious goal. But now, Beast is the one to find the play, as absolutely no one going up to answer them will miss a lot of their potential, as Chronicle with a phenomenal shot won't quite hit the angle, the backboard being a little bit of a fourth member for Weber there, as the goal was a little too high.
So we see once again things resetting into the common pace of this match. We see a demo, but it's not going to mean much with this pressure and lack thereof. So the ball's going to bounce up here. Rivers actually going for a shot, but blocked by Bale again. The teams are matching each other play for play, as Rivers going for a great shot, followed up by absolutely no one, and just barely unable to make the speed, get the tap. Chronicle not able to block that goal. It was just enough for Weber to get the first point of this game.
I'm pretty sure 5 players almost interacted with the ball there for that goal, showing that both teams need everything they can both to score and to block. We talked about the hero plays being necessary, but ultimately that goal came down to good coordination from Weber. There's absolutely no one hitting the ball in a little bit of a weird way, which means that Weber could be in danger. There's a minute left, but a minute is plenty of time to score just one goal and send us into overtime. Can NAU find it, or will Arizona be taking us, or Weber rather be taking us to a 5th game in their favor?
I mean, every time the pace resets is a blank slate for something new to happen. We see Chronicle able to take this ball right here, and unfortunately just one member of Northern Arizona, MIA for that setup, just going on the reset, getting more resources, and now the ball is back over and switching sides of the court back and forth. Time is running out, and Arizona has to make something happen. As we see an attempt at a shot, but Beast just a little too slow to hit it, and now Rivers just going to be tapping it over, blocked by Vale, followed up by CRF. We've seen this play out so many times in this match. I don't think anything's going to be changing here. We're in the last 5 seconds of the match as a shot goes towards the goal, but it's blocked by CRF, and that leaves it for Weber to take Game 5.
Man, I really thought that goal was going in at that 5-second mark, but man, what a close last minute. Unfortunately, Beast missing that ball there in the earlier sections means that ultimately that could be the pivotal moment of what was a 5-minute game. Sometimes it is those mere moment plays that can determine a match. And so far, if you look at the series, it looked pretty bad for Weber at the start. They were down 2-0, and now they took the last 3 games in a row.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm actually rooting for Northern Arizona because I want them to not lose faith. We've seen such great explosive play from them, such great power, and it is now or never. They have to get that magic back. They have to do something. I don't believe this is fully in Weber's adaptation. I do believe that Northern Arizona is just slipping behind slightly because they need to just believe in their initial play style, how it was working for them. We've essentially reset the entire playing field here, and they just have to bring that back once again, or else the match could be entirely over.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see it. Oftentimes, it is when a team is cornered that they bring out the most aggressive strategies, much like a cornered animal, if you will, right? There's a saying for a reason, and now we'll see if Northern Arizona can pull it out, those early aggressive plays that gave them the first 2 games of the series. For now, though, it looks like Weber's still mostly doing very well in the offense, has a decent amount of boost, and is carefully dribbling it around. As Weber's in a bit of a weird position here to be defensive. I think they were going for an aggressive play. Weber did not find the coordination they needed to pass the ball.
And so we're going to see a little bit of stalemate right here as the ball is going to be thrown into the corner right here. CRF actually going to pick it up into the air, and we're going to see Chronicle take it in response. And now setting up, maybe a teammate can come in here, but it's not going to have just the right speed. And so neither side actually has a good idea of what to do with the ball right now. They're stalling it, they're picking it up, they're knocking it forward, they're knocking it back, and it is just ping-ponging around the field. But this is a very good setup right now for Northern Arizona as they get the shot into the goal.
You know, I was going to say at the start of this game, but I didn't fully want to jinx it. I'll say it now, though. If Weber's history in Rocket League has anything to say about this game, it's that we will be going to a Game 7. The amount of final game series we have seen in Weber's, at least entire recent history, has been crazy. I'm excited to see NAU already score a point in their favor, looking very, very strong so far in this next game, although still, again, fairly even as Beast, maybe going for a good goal attempt here, will be barely blocked from Rivers. The momentum won't really be killed, though, so Weber has to find another way to push the ball out.
And so we're going to see Vale picking up the ball right here as absolutely no one actually going to take it from the air. And Rivers actually going in coordinated shot right here, almost hitting that on the rebound. But CRF coming in from the sidelines. Can they get it? But actually jumping a little bit prematurely as Chronicle stalled out the ball. And now Vale trying to take it over and takes control for Northern Arizona. Weber now onto the defense as we have Rivers knocking up the ball. Chronicle on the replay. And now CRF trying to follow.
All right, the ball floating gently above the Weber goal. Absolutely no one will be the first one to reach it, though, so the play will be denied. Still, it seems like Northern Arizona is always where they need to be to catch the rebounds, except for this exact one moment. The ball now hovering gently in front of their goal will be pushed away from them. A bit of a mirrored set of plays in the last few seconds from both teams. Rivers pushing the ball up, looking to gently air dribble the ball, maybe get a flip reset if they can, and they will get it, but I don't know if they can keep it going. Actually, they nearly find a goal from across the map.
I mean, Weber's bringing back their classic power plays in which they are just having such good control of the ball in the air and almost able to get a shot right there, but the two-man defense just enough to keep it in control for Northern Arizona. But a wide shot coming in from absolutely no one, just out of nowhere on the screen, and slamming the ball in there at the perfect angle, weaving it right between two defenders.
I don't think NAU was expecting it just as much as we weren't expecting it to come from absolutely no one there. They barely had enough boost just to get up high enough and tap the ball in with enough speed, so a huge window from Weber. That means that now with this game tied up, the next point could determine it. And already, it looks like NAU on a strong start, looking to go for the goal, and it will be scored almost immediately by Chronicle.
A beautiful adaptation from NAU. They weren't going for a shot onto the goal. Instead, they were going for a shot that looked like it was the goal, and then having the follow-up there to keep it going. A beautiful three-man setup where they essentially blocked their own attempt to fake out Weber State.
Use of the backboard there to great effect, right? The rebound to a teammate, which I really like to see. Let's see if Weber can find a response quickly here as well, or if NAU will get away with another one of their speedy goals at the beginning of a round. And for now, Rivers with a decent amount of boost will have to be the one to defend this. If not, absolutely no one needs to be in a good position. But the ball stalls out as every member of Weber misses it and barely saved from Rivers.
And another shot coming in there from Beast. A very close call, but we were able to defend against the onslaught. Another shot coming in from Vale, but that was a contested shot, so it just goes high into the air. And now we see actually an open goal at the moment on Northern Arizona, but not the right attack to keep it in there. And so absolutely no one's going to try and hit the ball right here, but Chronicle's going to pick it up. And actually, no! Rivers able to take the ball. That did not connect with Chronicle. And again, just an open goal means that Weber is able to tie up the game 2-2.
Weber survives a minute of an onslaught from NAU, and the moment they survive, they finally find the angle. NAU runs out of boost, runs out of good position, and Weber finds a way to tie up the game. With 2-2 now, and a great demo early means that maybe Weber can find a quick goal here if they've got the position. Unfortunately, with that miss there, I believe from absolutely no one, it won't end up going anywhere.
I'm worried that a certain amount of this matchup is just being drawn out by luck. I mean, I think if that's the case, Northern Arizona has shown a better, strong offensive coordination, and that if it keeps going that way, where stray balls are going in favor for Weber, I mean, this is just, I don't know how to feel at the moment.
Absolutely no one going for a rebound to play a double rebound, it looks like there. And a minute left on the clock. I feels like both teams have finally understood that, hey, this could determine the series, and the chaos has commenced. These insane long plays with the hero shots from every member, it seems like. And it looks like it's CRF's turn to find their hope. It will be blocked by Vale, and now Rivers in position. Once again, the ball just being traded back and forth between each member of Weber and NAU just to try and find the goals.
Going for a setup there off the rebound, but unable to get it connected. Rivers knocking it into the corner, able to get it away from Beast, but that is now being knocked over to Northern Arizona. They had just a little bit of control, trying to go for a quick play, but a demo to stop that literally in its tracks. And now neither side has a firm grasp on the ball. 15 seconds on the clock. They got to make this play now or play it into overtime, which is dangerous for both sides.
All right, with the last 6 seconds, it looks like this might be the first game of the series going into overtime unless that ball exactly goes in. Timer's basically up now, but if the ball goes in now, it could still end up determining the game, but no overtime here at the first time a team can potentially win the series.
And we've seen these very quick power plays right off the bat coming in from Northern Arizona. A good hit after the kickoff, and now a quick shot onto the goal, able to be blocked. Rivers, you are my favorite member right now, keeping this going. And so it is going to be a long play right now in overtime.
Oh my gosh, my heart, I'm getting heart palpitations here from the insanely close nature of these goals. Not only in overtime, but even before. It feels like there have been so many points just barely missed. Let's see if one can finally sink into a goal here as CRF trying to get a good goal attempt, but without a boost and absolutely no one also not having much boost. Weber really needs to back up to regroup and to regain their resources before NAU can punish them. A great demo coming out from Rivers, but again, mostly demos have been a just denial in this series as Vale actually scores a really quick goal.
A very clean and almost traditional Rocket League gameplay setup where you see not enough defense on there and just passing it off to a teammate. A very simple way to cap off Game 6, which means we are on Game 7. Whoever takes this game wins the series.
I mean, would it really be a Weber State Rocket League series if it didn't either be a 4-0 or an insane 7-game series? Feels like there's very little in between. But hey, I'm all for it. At this point, winner takes all. Forget the rest of the series other than your adaptations and just play your hearts out, both teams. I'm so ready.
I mean, if anything, this is just making me, worried for the future. Like, are finals gonna be this exciting? Because honestly, I don't know who to root for. I'm honestly going to be sad if either team loses this because they've both been performing and adapting so well.
Yeah, this is just a series where you gotta step away and applaud both teams. Just, like we said, be ready for an exciting Rocket League. No matter who wins, just be ready for the final game of the most intense series we've seen in a while since last year's finals, I would say, as looking like now that Weber is on the back foot to start, but absolutely with a huge push away, even without much boost, should be able to save Weber's momentum quite heavily. Actually getting a huge amount of back-to-back single plays, and now Rivers is here to potentially back them up.
So we're going to see Northern Arizona on the ball, going for a setup, but going to be taken away by CRF, who's going to be bringing it in front of the goal. Rivers goes for a shot, but immediately blocked and met by Chronicle, as absolutely no one going to stall at the ball in the air, and met in the air by Beast. So far, neither side has any good momentum to play with, and it's just going to be left passing it back and forward. We see both teams looking to get some resources right now, a little bit of boost charge, and Vale able to pick up that full charge right there. Weaver's getting a little bit low as they try and knock up the ball right now, but Arizona's just been getting stronger and stronger. So Rivers is going to have to keep very good control of this, otherwise they're going to be losing their grasp any moment now.
Looks like the other members of Weber took the time to back up and get a set of boost, which absolutely no one finds a really weird tap. Looks like both players just kind of headbutted the ball, and absolutely no one managed to get a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, I'm confused what happened on the defense there because, so what happened was it got knocked against, so being knocked against Chronicle as Beast was dropping down to block the shot on the goal, which means Beast was out of position, almost in another immediate hit from absolutely no one, almost a silent champion of this team right now. I think they've been responsible for a good number of the goals in this match. I haven't even noticed, but just every moment, absolutely no one just there to try and make something happen, as we see CRF letting the ball drop down there and absolutely no one going for another shot. Gets blocked off. Rivers on the follow-up, but now defensive strategy coming in from Weber.
Yeah, a lot of the boosts falling away means that actually no, River is still looking to play a little bit aggressive here, maybe at least buy his teammates a little bit more time to get into a better position. Chronicle going for a bit of an attempt here, but will sort of miss the ball and it'll end up just floating downwards. It's up to CRF to block this and has just barely enough boost.
Chronicle in the corner setting it up for their team. Unfortunately, Vale out of position. Beast not with enough boost, and so it's not going to be in favor of Northern Arizona just yet. We're hitting the 3-minute mark onto this game as Chronicle goes for a shot, but blocked by absolutely no one. Also on the rebound as Vale tries to get another shot right there, and it is now the defense with very little boost. Chronicle able to take it very far down the field, and it is back in favor for Northern Arizona.
Oh man, this is getting tense. Both teams going for a lot of different plays. The CRF gets a demo here, and absolutely no one trying to find a rebound play. Once again, attempting to score a goal for Weber, and I believe you are correct. A lot of their goals this game have been a result of absolutely no one. Was that like a triple rebound play that every single member of Weber participated in?
I'm pretty sure the back wall there got touched at least 3 times because we have the 1, we have the 2, and no. So just 2 shots there, but Rivers able to get in there with enough time to just gently tap it in. 2 defenders is not enough. You always need the 3rd.
I believe for the first time in the entire series, in the final game, Weber is up 2 points. That might have happened in some of the other games, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, we were happy with how this game is going with 2:20 left on the clock. I jinxed it a little bit. My apologies, Weber.
I was just about to say, it means very little if we see Northern Arizona bring back that special sauce and get that immediate goal on the onslaught play. And here we are. Down goes the 2-0. 1 point difference. 2 minutes and 19 seconds left on the clock.
I mean, if I have to say it, I am happy to see NAU score, not only because they've been a phenomenal team this entire series, but because how else would it be perfect for this game to end other than a potential overtime? And NAU is only 1 point away. Weber really wants to deny it, though, make sure they walk away the victors of this game without any more stress. So let's see if they can secure that, or if Northern Arizona can tie it up before overtime. For now, though, CRF in a pretty good position, and a weird tap there means that the ball almost goes in, blocked, quote-unquote, by absolutely no one, but it was more momentum killer for the sake of Weber to make sure that Rivers ended up catching the ball.
And so we're seeing things reset just a little bit, unless Rivers is going to get super aggressive. They're trying to knock the ball into the corner right there, and Northern Arizona going onto the attack, but with barely any boost to play with. The only times Arizona is getting it to the other side of the field at this point is with using all of their boost. The resource management game is lost at this point, as anytime they're trying to set up, they're losing their power at that moment. And so Weber is just able to knock this ball back and forth. Beast going with a very, very tight angled shot, but not able to actually get it in there, blocking themselves in a manner of speaking. And Rivers and CRF actually playing midfield right here, knocking back towards the goal and keeping Arizona on the defense. 1 minute left to get one more goal and tie up the game.
Let's see if they can find the one goal in this 1 minute. With the timer continuously ticking down, there's no break, there's no pause. They've got to find the angle. The lockdown of Weber going very, very strong. They've so far started to run out a little bit of boost, but still doing very well overall as a good block from absolutely no one. They've got to be really careful here. It's actually a huge position on the goal. Can Vale find the angle? No, they cannot. Sierra pushes away. Weber completely out of boost other than absolutely no one. Can they find something?
I think the nerves have gotten to them. Every shot from Arizona is going wide, and be it just a matter of how the opportunities are, any good shot they do have at this point is immediately blocked by Weber. And with the 3rd goal for Weber in this game, that is a 2 point difference. Northern Arizona would have to pull out a miracle to tie up this game.
Well, if they can, it's these immediate fast goals, right? The benefit from that play, if there can be one, is that the ball is reset. It's the only benefit NAU can find. Arizona's got to find the quick play again. A demo already and winning the 50 to start, but it looks like CF kills the momentum. And with that already, I think that could determine the game. Vale trying to push the ball away. Chronicle in position. They have to score now, but we're down to the last 7 seconds of the match, folks. 6, 5, 4, and that will be the end of the game, it looks like. Maybe a rebound goal here coming in.
Yeah, I mean, with the missed shot from Beast, the lack of opportunity, I couldn't see it coming together in that last moment. A heartbreaking loss at those final moments, the final hour. But ultimately, Weber State does take the match 4-3. I cannot be disappointed at that outcome. I'm always going to be a fan of Weber State coming out on top in the series. But man, what a series it was.
Man, I'm just happy to have caught that, to have been a spectator that got to see the sheer awesomeness of that Rocket League game. Thank you all for joining us. I'm sure you all had as much of a blast as we did.
Yeah, I mean, just an incredible display from both teams. I mean, initially we were going for the analysis, but that went right out the window after we got past game 4. Everything changed. So much had happened. And I think this is truly one of the highlight games for, why I love watching Weber play when they bring their best, which I think Weber did today. It was a tough fight, but they brought it together and got almost 4 games back to back.
Yeah, I know if you're a Weber State fan like we are, you're happy with how the game turned out and happy with how the game was played as well. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you all hopefully tomorrow at 7 p.m. for our League of Legends Junior Varsity games. Stay tuned.